What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Video Game Time Capsule. I'm joined by fellow 90s kid, Matt Romano.
How's it going?
And in case you haven't noticed, we're talking about Shaq. Talking about Shaq today. Shaquille O'Neal for the uninitiated. This is when Shaq ruled the world. They're probably asking why we're talking about Shaq.
Yeah, because what's Shaq got to do with anything genre?
Why is Shaq on SYFY? Why are we talking about Shaq on SYFY? Well, most of you know him from selling insurance, doing Maury during the day, or being an NBA commentator on TV, or the dude from the cat gift. What most of y'all forget, during the early 90s to like mid 90s, Shaq basically took over all of pop culture. Talking about sports, music, commercials, but most importantly to us, he came into our nerdy ass lives with comics.
Movies like Kazaam and Steel.
It's hammer time.
What a magnetic personality.
That's a classic.
Classic.
Which we'll get into. But also, Shaq had his own video game, which is why today we're playing Shaq-Fu.
This is your target.
Introducing Shaq-Fu, Kung Fu Shaq style. For Sega Genesis and Super NES.
All right, so let's get straight into it. I guess duel, right? So you could fight each other and get to know the buttons and the characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
When's the last time you played this?
What year did this come out?
Came out in 94.
I'll say 1994 then.
Darkstalkers came out that year. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo came out.
My favorite of all time.
Dude, it's like classic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's Street Fighter, which is the franchise, like, I mean, look at this. This is based on Street Fighter, right?
I mean, like, I immediately picked up the controller and like just immediately started doing Street Fighter moves.
I mean,
they're working.
I think that's the go-to move when you play any fighting game, right? You figure out, it's like, all right, Hadouken, what does it do? Nothing? Okay. Sonic Boom, what does it do? Nothing? Okay, cool. But the crazy part is, and now getting into it, like when we were picking characters, like look at this character you're using.
Oh yeah, this is pretty much Skeletor, like I would say.
Yes! or like a yellow and green Mumra.
Yeah, there you go.
Thundercats, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So like the crazy thing about this game, right, was, so this was supposed to be a sports game initially, and Shaq was a big Mortal Kombat fan. Again, like why, you know, and we'll get into it more, but he was like us, he was like a nerd into like, that we were into. So he asked the makers of this game to make a Mortal Kombat-like game, which is why we got Shaq-Fu.
Hey, good for him. I mean, like if you're not going to be NBA Jam, why bother in the 1990s, if you ask me? You know, it's like, and I like the fact that they approached him to make a sports game, and he was like, nah, you know what? You know what's cool? Fighting games. Let's do that.
I'd like to give him credit for thinking outside the box and showing his nerdy side and like actually caring and not just attaching his name to it.
Yeah.
Because ironically, a month later, you know what came out after this? A month later?
What's that?
Michael Jordan, Chaos in Windy City.
I forget how nuts the C button is on the Genesis controller. I just don't know. I'm really lacking what to do here. Oh, there you go. Nice job.
Let's go.
All right.
All right.
We're getting there, though. Ooh, I didn't need sticks or stones to break your bones, fool.
You gotta do it in Shaq voice.
That's a terrible Shaq voice.
I didn't need sticks or stones to break your bones, fool.
There you go. There you go. That's it.
Who are you picking right now?
Oh, you know what? I don't know.
I'm gonna pick Randy Savage.
I'm gonna go with the cat lady, Kaori. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with like galactic, medieval Randy Savage.
I like Galactic Randy Savage. Yeah, that's good.
I did a move. Oh. I did a Hadouken and then did something. But you're whipping my ass.
I'm just kicking. This is how I win fighting games. I get you into a corner and then I just kick.
Oh, you're a masher?
Mercilessly. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I gotta get out of the corner.
Yeah.
Corner's bad. Oh.
Oh yeah, I like Kaori. This is my character.
So so like, right, going back to Shaq, right?
Yep.
So not only is he, you know, insanely dominant in basketball, Woods Rookie of the Year, his numbers are insane for a rookie, but also we start getting like rap albums.
My Ford Explorer booming with the clunk of funk. All you jealous punks can't stop my dunk.
But like, what a marketable player. I mean, he was like over 7 feet tall. You know, he was charismatic, he was funny. Like, he was just a bankable star from the start.
Exactly.
You know, and I mean, and add in the whole thing that like, you know, the Orlando Magic, they're a brand new team, this brand new player, like everything just seemed to be clicking for Shaq.
For sure.
But also, I'll never forget going to like Reebok in my mall, and like they had his shoes on display.
Shaq Attacks.
Oh my
Dude.
God, but like his size shoe, and you could like hold them in your hands and be like, how is this guy this big?
You could have ate cereal out of that.
Yeah, you sure can. Okay, I'm gonna pick Beast. Yeah, that looks good.
This is genre heavy.
I mean,
character
seriously,
select.
I mean, seriously.
Every trope in fantasy is in this character.
I think they literally went to like every comic book movie ever and was like, let's just make our version of that.
Gotta talk about once he started making movies.
Yes.
In like 96, I believe.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Max never went looking for trouble. Trouble just seemed to find him. And now he's got a genie.
Make your 3 wishes.
Shaquille O'Neal. Kazaam.
What are your memories of like first seeing that trailer or seeing that that poster?
I think it was the same reaction I had to like everything Shaq did. It was just like, what?
There he is again.
Yeah, like, okay, sure. But I remember the commercial in the trailer and that scene when he's in the shower singing.
I remember seeing the poster and being like, because I had seen Blue Chip, so
Yeah.
I kind of was like, all right, he's making movies now.
Yeah.
So not only do I see him at the comic book place, and then the rapping, obviously, but then once I saw like Blue Chips, I was like, oh, this might be a thing where now he's making movies.
Yeah, and he's, I mean, it's not genre at all, but he's great in Blue Chips.
Oh, he's
I think
fantastic.
He's awesome.
But he's
This is a
kind of
movie.
playing like something close to home, where he's like a college player.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
Kazaam,
yeah.
it's like he's playing a hip hop genie.
Yeah.
First of all, instead of a lamp, he's in a boombox. And when he comes out of the boombox, he raps to the kid.
Who dare to wake me? Ain't gonna make this a mystery. Don't wanna do time on your wishes 3.
We gotta talk about the ending and how he beats them.
Oh my God, that's the best part of the movie.
He basically turns the dude into a ball.
Yes, yes.
And then he dunks him into like a vent or something.
He dunks him to death.
He dunks him to death. The cherry on the
Totally.
Shaq movie Sunday.
That movie is just so ridiculous, and I think it's a combination of the rapping, Shaq, just the where 90s special effects were. But some of my other favorite moments from that movie is like, which I loved as a kid, was the scene where he makes it rain fast food.
Yes.
Like, and it's like all McDonald's burgers and fries.
All right, hold up. When
Yeah.
you were a kid, did you get a lot of fast food from your parents or no?
I think actually I would say yeah. I mean, like it wasn't like every night, but like I don't think they were very like, I don't think my parents were very like, this was bad for you. I think they were more like, this is easy. Let's do this.
See, my parents was like, I'd be like, I want McDonald's. And my mom's like, I'll make you McDonald's at home.
Oh, see, no, you can't do that.
And she just would not understand that it's just not the same.
no.
Unless you're gonna fabricate a Happy Meal and a toy at home.
Fresh from their road trip to McDonald's, the Mighty Ducks take the ice.
A chicken McNugget isn't a nugget. It is a chicken McNugget.
This is true. My hot take of the day is I'm a Super Nintendo kid, and the D-pad for the Genesis, I'm sorry, Sega fans and Sega peeps, but they're bad.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like these controllers that we have here have just seen some better days, but
I think it's just that D-pad is brutal to
Yeah.
do like Hadoukens or even a Shoryuken. Like it's tough.
And I love these cutscenes. These are
Dude, the
fantastic.
post-fight scenes were like the damage you made.
Yeah.
He got f***ed up.
I sure did. Well, it's like all this stuff, the video game here, Kazaam, they all have to have something to do with basketball or have some kind of like, reference to him being a player.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
It has to
No,
have
and
it.
it makes total sense.
Yeah.
But like, I think it was a smart decision on the writer's part that they included like kind of the all walks of pop culture life,
Yeah.
and encompass his character, but also like they didn't leave us nerds out.
Nope.
Doing genies. I wonder when Aladdin came out, I wonder if genies were like at an all-time high.
Yeah.
Right?
I bet somebody was like, you know what? Get me some of that Robin Williams genie action. Call Shaq.
But he looks the part, like,
Yeah.
because mostly I remember like seeing genies in stories growing up, and obviously in Aladdin, like genie's pretty swole.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that Shaq, 7 foot, thick, is a genie.
Well, it makes you think, and also they have to be, genies have to be really big to really sell the fact that they're like stuck in these lamps and it's uncomfortable.
That's
you know,
a good point.
if a
Or
skinny
boomboxes.
genie came out, you know, you'd be like, all right, it can't be that bad in that bottle.
That's a very good point. So I think now we have to move on to the creme de la creme Shaq quintessential movie in Steel.
Steel.
Ain't got no problem.
Oh, yes, you do.
Memories of when you first saw like the trailer for Steel or the poster, whatever.
Well, Steel has a special place in my heart because I think like my whole gateway drug into sci-fi and comics was the Death of Superman storyline in the 90s. I was just obsessed with that whole series. I don't think I missed buying a Superman comic for like 3 years. Like I have a complete collection.
Dude,
and
that's awesome.
It's awesome. And anybody familiar with the Death of Superman storyline is the whole idea of Reign of the Supermen, when like Superman dies and these like 4 other Supermen show up.
This bad boy.
Awesome, just so good. So like one of the Supermen is Steel, which is this guy, John Henry Irons, who in the comic books, he's like this big weapons expert, and like he makes this weapon called the Toastmaster.
I got one of those.
Yeah, Toastmaster?
That's where I make my bologna sandwiches.
Fantastic, yeah, like, right?
You know what sandwich maker?
Yeah, exactly. He builds the weapon ends up on the streets. He decides like, I'm stepping away from this, I don't want to be a part of this, becomes a steel worker. He like falls off a skyscraper and Superman saves him, and like John Henry Irons is like, how can I repay you? And Superman's like, don't worry about it, just make your life count for something. So later when Superman dies, John Henry Irons decides to like join the fight essentially. So he wants to like rid the streets of his weapons.
Let's try story mode and see where it's.
Yeah, let's do that, yeah. But like, so, you know, the way the Reign of Superman works out is like, he's not the real Superman. Oh, look at this.
I want a soft drink now.
Pepsi.
But what kind of soft drink do I want? Oh, I know. A Pepsi. Twice! Back to back.
See, Shaq is a very smart man too. I mean, like, he's executive producer of all his movies. He definitely had a decision in making this game, and like, that's gotta be one of the first in-game advertisements
I think so.
ever, you know?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
Continue.
Anyway, after the end of the Reign of Superman, like he just becomes like a member of the Superman family. He dons the name Steel, and his story kind of continues his fight against these gangs who are using his weapons for evil. So when I saw that Steel was coming out, I was psyched because it's like, whoa, we're getting like a Steel movie.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna get the real origin story from the comics. And sadly, that was not the case. They definitely bite off a lot of the general idea of Steel. So like in the movie, you know, it is about, he's a weapons expert, but he's in the army. Like they take so much from the comic, not that much, but I was really disappointed when I saw it because it was like, you know, I really wanted to see like Superman in it. And it's funny, you watch the movie and they make references to Superman, you see a Superman tattoo, there's a reference to Batman and Robin, and it's not clear if they're saying like those characters are real in the world of Steel or they're comic book
They left it
characters.
ambiguous, right?
They left it very ambiguous.
Yeah.
Like there's a line where he's like, you know, oh, you're not Superman, and his brother, played by Ray J,
Yes.
is like, I could be your Robin, but like, yeah, it's a little murky.
Which
you
I
know?
like.
Yeah.
I like the open-ended, like, you know, nod without being
Yeah.
too direct. Here, you try the story.
Okay, yeah.
While I do the little brother thing and play with a controller that doesn't work.
I was trying to do that too. Yeah, while you were playing.
But like, favorite part of Steel, favorite scene?
Oh my goodness, favorite scene in Steel. I think it's the end when like it's like the final showdown, and like Sparks. The big surprise twist is like she decked out her wheelchair with like all the weapons, and like just like lays waste to the bad guys.
You gotta do the line though.
Oh well, the Judd Nelson line.
Well,
Yeah,
not the judge, like Judd Nelson just says, "Kill them."
Yeah.
And what does she say?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Did you like how they used the hammer?
I didn't actually, because
Really?
the hammer's just a gun in the movie. Like, you know, I don't think he ever hammers anyone.
It is kind
with
of a cop out.
You know? So, oh wow, I made the leaderboard. Okay, we gotta do the classic
Hey, you gotta go. ASS.
ASS, yeah. Wait.
The all-time leader in all leaderboards in every arcade.
It always bothered me that like in the movie, like he's fully decked out in the steel except his face, and somehow, you know, like all superheroes, they just never get shot in the face. I'm surprised that his movie career kind of ended after Steel.
Well, he did a cameo in Good Burger. I remember that.
Bringing your team all the way to the NBA championship. How do you feel?
I feel hungry.
5-star classic.
Absolutely.
If you are gonna fight me on that, I will meet you wherever you want to meet up.
Yep.
And I will fight for the honor of Good Burger.
Good Burger is a classic.
Right?
Is cinema, as they would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I think we pretty much covered all of Shaq's ruleness of our lives in the 90s.
Yep.
Obviously, the basketball stuff, you know, is everyone knows about his accolades and being the most dominant center ever.
Yeah.
But I think the most important stuff, especially to us, is Shaq-Fu, which got a sequel last year.
Shaq Diesel, baby.
I'm curious if any of these characters made it into the new Shaq-Fu.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah,
they were
because-
supposed to make a true sequel to this one, but it never happened.
Because I'll tell you, there's some cool world building in this game. You know,
There
these
is.
levels, these characters. I am very interested in the extended universe of Shaq-Fu.
And that's the best part of fighting games, is learning like the extended like backgrounds of the characters.
Yeah. Because it's always crazy, and it's always like, you are brought to another dimension to fight all these others from another dimension. Like, that's pretty much.
Also, they
how
should
it
have
goes.
fatalities in this.
Yes.
Shaq's fatality would probably been roll you into a ball and dunk you. Like
And
David
dunk you to
Kazaam.
death. Yeah, that's his fatality move.
Or
Absolutely.
get a sledgehammer
Turn it into a gun.
and then like pretend he's gonna like hit you with a sledgehammer. Be like, just kidding.
You know I gotta push the envelope.
And on that note, thanks you guys for joining. Let us know in the comments what you remember of Shaq in the 90s, especially in like the genre world, like as nerds, when he first came into your life. And if you have any like suggestions of games we should play that kind of correlate with a moment in time when someone, something kind of ruled our collective lives, let us know. Till then, don't hold your breath on Death of Superman movies.
And practice your free throws.
Yes!
Throw it! Quick! Throw it!
I never make these.
Come on!